All right, you guys, so I typically hate doing videos on topics that people have already covered, especially when they laid the Boots house down, and I don't really feel like I could do a better job. But when I saw John's video on this, I just knew that we had to talk about it because how insane all of this is. Could Wes finally be getting his karma? And is Mr. Pegley Watson losing everything? The Bugattis, the houses, the prostitutes. It's all so crazy, and I'm never hoping for someone's downfall, but could Wesley finally be getting the karma he deserves? We're gonna get into it, but before we do, please make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my socials. Okay, so we all remember that fight, alleged fight, where Wes and all his lame ass friends jumped that guy in the gym. It was so brutal, like 4 of them against 1. Well, now that guy is suing the living shit out of Wes. And honestly, I hope he gets his coin, but he is not only suing Wes, but he is also suing Elevation Fitness, where the whole thing took place. And he is also suing Nick Dellis, who is Wesley's dumb friend who was kicking the guy while he was already on the ground. And before we get into all of this, listen, we're talking about a lawsuit here, and I'm a fucking idiot. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know what all this law lingo shit means. I mean, I feel like most of us are this way. That's why we hire lawyers. But if you're interested in like the whole case and hearing it in full and want to read the documents for yourself, I would say go over to John's page. I will link it in the description. So basically, on April 9th, a woman showed up to Wes's house to serve him. And guys, this part is hilarious. So these are basically like the documents that the woman had to sign after she served Wes, just signing that she did serve him and what time it was and all that stuff. But according to this paperwork, and I know he's going to have a fit about this, she states that he's about 5'8", 200 pounds and bald. That's how she described him. And we know that is not how Wes wants to be described. So it's just so funny because we know he's got to be losing his shit over this. He's always crying and whining about how people are claiming that he's 5'8", but he says he's 6 foot.
Anybody who takes pictures with me in person, anybody who films with me in person, if you see people saying I'm small or I'm short, debunk their lies. Because we don't need people lying about people online, especially solid people who change lives. They all say I lie about my height. I'm not 5'8". I'm 6 foot 250 plus. Anybody who ever takes pictures with me in person, go ahead and verify that, because we need people to stop just making up their fictional tales that make their loser asses feel better.
Anyways, moving on to the paperwork, it states, this is a personal injury action for damages in excess of $50,000. So it goes on to describe what happened that day, basically everything we saw in the video. Most of us have seen the video by now. It's extremely brutal, but it basically just says that the plaintiff approached Wes in the gym as Wes was instructing people to do so on his Instagram page, on his Instagram stories, and DMing people. And when the plaintiff did so, Wes got violent, angry, and struck him with a weight belt, using it as a weapon, struck him multiple times on his body and head, but then at various points using racial slurs, calling the plaintiff a blank and threatening to kill him multiple times. He really doesn't seem to learn from any of his mistakes. You would think that he would have taken that incident and learned from it and changed his behavior, but instead he's just acting more unhinged and more erratic, because as recent as a couple weeks ago, he was on live stream and went on this huge racist rant.
Like, why don't you put some fucking cocoa butter on your head and on your ashy knees? She don't fuck with you, bro. JoJo. I bet you understand what JoJo looks like, you guys. JoJo the monkey. The jumping around monkey man. Like, nobody gives a fuck about people like you, dipshit. A brickle real estate agent. Lives in fucking the shittiest fucking condo in fucking SLS and gets stuck in that elevator all day. Monkey JoJo. Fuck yeah, jump around, monkey. Don't give a fuck. I wish I could light up every word on these motherfuckers. Like everything, and not hold anything back.
And so I don't really know what's going on with him. He seems like he's kind of losing it. As we know, his Instagram was taken down. It was banned and he had to start a new one. And he's been on his Instagram and YouTube just acting completely unhinged and crazy, going on these rants. I mean, he always has, but it's getting worse than ever before. And stupid dumbass Angie is just sitting there next to him, nodding her head like a pendeja. But anyways, moving on. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing. If you want, go to John's page. But basically, it just continues to describe the fight, saying that Wes and his friends attacked the man with weapons and dumbbells. Nick kicked him in the face while the other guys prevented him from using his arm and legs to protect himself. And they were taunting this poor guy and gouging his eyes with their fingers and even tried to choke him. Then it says that after this incident, Wes has been making statements bragging and boasting about the attack. This is what I'm talking about, how Wes never learns his lesson. We heard him when he was in the restaurant with Lil Pump, how he was bragging, saying that this is the most brutal fight video out of any famous person.
I tried to stay cool here, man. Now I'm already fucked. Now I'm rolling around here tripping, you know? Yeah. Like, man, I thought I was bulletproof. Now they dropped my case from like 15 years on like 2 felonies to like 3 years, 3 to 5. Damn. But I'm gonna keep trying to beat it, you know?
They talking about that new shit?
Yeah.
The bullshit where the guy wrote.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, that show's such bullshit, man.
I could beat it, but I mean, they
annoying.
They want to play games and they want to drain a couple hundred bands from you.
Nah, people are a piece of shit, bro. They'll do anything for some fucking clout. I hate that shit.
I loved it, though. That was the best case scenario.
Yeah.
To beat the dog shit out of someone on camera, have the best fucking just brutal fight video of any famous person. And no one can say nothing.
Exactly.
But the thing is, they were trying to say my boys jumped in, but they
didn't.
Yeah, they didn't,
bro. I see it.
I mean, dude, where I'm from, they should have kicked his whole face in, you know? What the hell?
That's a big ass move.
Yeah.
And bro, we're in Florida, man. You could have fucking pulled out on him at any time, just ended him right there, you know?
Dude, my boy Rob right there, he's Hua Chang, he's like Chinese mafia. My other dude fucking is like just got strapped, you know. They're all motherfuckers, bro. They're not slackers, bro.
Yeah,
they're wearing Richies and shit, going to the gym every day. Yeah. They don't have problems, bro.
I know.
He's also been running around because, like I said, he's been acting way more unhinged lately on his live stream, saying that professional UFC fighters are big pussies and real men, like the men he grew up around, would just duct tape people's families.
Don't encourage anyone to run up to these pro fighters. Pro fighters are pussies, okay? They're only good in the ring. People I know will not accept a loss, okay? If a pro fighter did his jujitsu on him, then the guy's gonna come back and duct tape his family, okay? You don't wanna fuck with the wrong people. And the wrong people out here in the world are not pro fighters. You guys need to wake up. These are very big time squares. Pro fighters are the epitome of squares. They're like, come in the ring and I'll fight you. The people I grew up with and went to prison with, they don't give a fuck about a ring. They don't give a fuck if they're on camera. They don't give a fuck if they have to fucking live the rest of their life in prison. You will not beat them. They will not take a loss. You guys live in a fantasy world where pro fighters aren't the biggest squares on the planet. UFC fighting is gay. Like all that shit, like MMA fighting and all that shit is for people who never really were in fights. Like they never whooped ass their whole life. So they're always like, I'm gonna train and fight. Like I've always just handled shit very easily. I never had to think about fighting because I always just extinguished the problem, however I had to. So the point is like, that's for people who like never could really fight. They had to go learn to fight. I mean, people who just handle business, they don't have to learn to fight. There's a difference between fighters and violent people. You should really stay away from violent people because it doesn't matter how good you are at fighting when they want to take it to the level. They'll take you out. And so there's a huge difference here. You guys have it all misconstrued. Fighting is some weird sport shit that is all these people do, and it has nothing to do with violence because a violent person will end your life. And this is the thing. You guys need to quit thinking that UFC people are going to be able to fuck around with violent motherfuckers. Because a violent motherfucker won't lose. He won't take it. And you'll be like, wait, put the gloves on. And he's not going to hear it. And it's going to be a problem for you.
I always just extinguish the problem. First of all, crazy ass take to say that UFC fighters are pussies. But also, sir, you are fighting a case that could potentially lead you back to prison and getting the living shit sued out of you. Maybe let's stop talking about fighting and ending people's lives. And this guy is such an idiot. He's talked about this so many times all over the internet for everyone to see. It's even getting mentioned in this lawsuit. Well, now Wes hasn't filed anything or responded before the deadline. The judge has put a judgment on him for default. And again, I'm not a lawyer, so I had to look up what a default judgment even means. And it means you were sued and either didn't file an answer to the lawsuit within the deadline, typically 20 to 30 days after being served, or you didn't appear at the required hearing or trial, so the plaintiff asked the court to issue a judgment without you being there and the court granted it. So basically what happens now is the plaintiff can now collect the money from you using that judgment, possibly through wage garnishment, bank account levies, property liens. The judgment may show up on your credit report and affect your credit score, and it may accrue interest until it's paid. So the default was just entered today, June 4th. It says a default is hereby entered in this action against the defendant, Wesley Watson, what a stupid ass name, named in the foregoing motion for failure to serve or file any proper paper as required by law. Now, because Wes has such a massive ego and he's constantly trying to project this tough guy image online, instead of humbling himself a little bit and dealing with a situation like this like an adult, he is ignoring it. I don't know why he's doing this. Maybe he thinks that if he pretends none of this is happening, it'll just go away. But I mean, this guy is suing him for everything he's worth. And at this rate, he might possibly end up back in prison because we know he still has that case coming up too. It's just so crazy because all the lies he's told in his prison stories, the bragging, the fake alpha act, the putting everybody down, trying to make himself feel powerful, it's all backfiring. But the truth is he's the one who's actually weak and small, not just literally, but emotionally too. He's so fragile. He's allowed his ego, his temper, and his not being able to shut the fuck up get him into this huge ass mess. And now we are witnessing his downfall in real time. He's flailing his little 10-inch arms trying to keep this carefully crafted image afloat, but he's sinking. And it's actually kind of sad that in the end, it won't be the Bugattis, the fancy houses, or the prostitutes surrounding him. It'll just be him alone in a prison cell, right back to where he started. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.